says comedy needs to be lighthearted? Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 best dark comedies of all time.
You gotta deal with it. Just gotta make sure you don't end up owing it. Because then you're in his debt, which means you're in his pocket. And once you're in that, you ain't ever coming out.
For this list, we're looking at the most popular and critically acclaimed dark comedy films of all time. Warning, there will be spoilers ahead. Number 20, The Cable Guy. The Cable Guy was released at an interesting time.
I'm the tardy one?
Yeah. I was gonna go to that bed and bath place, and now it's closed.
Well, maybe I shouldn't have come at all. Jerk off! I'm just joking with you.
Megastar Jim Carrey had recently starred in enormously popular comedies like Dumb and Dumber and Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls. People were expecting another wacky Jim Carrey comedy, and what they got instead was a creepy, deliriously dark movie about an unhinged cable installer who stalks his customers. Carrey is convincingly creepy, and Matthew Broderick plays the perfect straight man foil to his chilling antics. Now that Carrey has done more dramatic work, we can look back on this movie and appreciate its qualities. And there are many. Number 19, Horrible Bosses. For a movie starring funny men Jason Bateman, Charlie Day, and Jason Sudeikis, Horrible Bosses goes to some surprisingly dark places, like murder and assault.
Hypothetically, if we could do it, and none of us get caught, would you guys do it?
No.
I would.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, I would.
You would?
Yeah. It's not murder if it's justified. Justifiable homicide, that's a thing, right?
I can't wait to hear this.
The three comedians star as dejected men who hate their jobs and decide to murder their bosses. The movie explores some troubling themes, including workplace sexual harassment with the typical gender roles reversed.
Let's see if this thing's working. Oh!
Oh my God!
Oh! I'm sorry. I'm a squirter, Dale. Oh, you know what? I think I can make out our little friend right there.
Well, and the fact that the protagonists are wannabe murderers. Despite all that, the screenwriting and performances wonderfully toe the line between uncomfortable and uproarious. Charlie Day's screaming and Jason Bateman's bewildered straight man shtick are reliably awesome. Number 18, Bad Santa. Christmas. The time of year for gooey cookies, comfy fires, pine-scented Christmas trees, and alcoholic mall Santas.
Jesus, Mother Mary and Joseph, you piss yourself.
Oh, Jesus.
Bad Santa is a different kind of Christmas movie, as it follows a sex-addicted alcoholic thief named Willie who poses as a mall Santa to case the joint. Along the way, he befriends a bullied and lonely boy named Thurman. It's the role of a lifetime for Billy Bob Thornton, who plays Willie with reckless aplomb. He's not a likable man at all, but the movie is surprisingly endearing. And Willie undergoes some serious character development as his relationship with Thurman deepens.
I was gonna make some sandwiches. I could make you one before you leave.
Listen, kid, I don't know. I got shit to do and everything. Okay, make me some sandwiches.
It's certainly not a movie you'd want to watch with the kids, but it's also far funnier and sweeter than you'd imagine. Number 17, World's Greatest Dad. This movie faced the same troubles as The Cable Guy.
How about you come over to my place for something hot and spicy?
Is that a double entendre?
No, I was gonna make you my chili. And then bang you.
It's a comedy, and it stars Robin Williams. So, most people assumed it would be a Robin Williams comedy. You know what we mean. Wackiness, weird voices, hyperactive energy, the works. What they got instead was a very morose movie about fame, popularity, and the deplorable depths that some people will go to in order to procure it. This movie came and went without much attention in 2009, yet it received near universal adoration from critics, many of whom praised Williams' performance and the incredibly risky subject matter. We won't spoil what happens, just know that this movie goes to some horrible yet fiendishly funny places.
He was my son. He was also a douchebag. He wasn't very smart.
Number 16, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Shane Black has made many great movies over the years, but Kiss Kiss Bang Bang may in fact be his best.
No, I didn't kill him. He wanted in.
I didn't want him to come in on it. He insisted. I said, you gotta stay at home, but he doesn't listen to me. He's such a stupid son of a bitch.
Or at least his most overlooked. Robert Downey Jr. proves that he is one of the funniest men in the business with his performance as Harry Lockhart, a thief posing as an actor who gets caught up in a murder investigation. It's brilliant stuff. The movie is wickedly stylish and serves as a biting satirical send-up of pulpy hard-boiled detective stories. Despite debuting at the Cannes Film Festival and earning critical praise, this too was somewhat overlooked and underappreciated upon release.
I put in one bullet, didn't I?
You put a live round in that gun.
Oh, yeah. There was like an 8% chance. Wasn't it just 8?
8?
Yeah.
Who taught you math?
Let's give it the credit it deserves. Number 15, Arsenic and Old Lace. We're going way back for Arsenic and Old Lace, which was released in September of 1944.
Never mind about that. Now, just sit down. Now tell me, who was the first one?
Mr. Midgley. He was a Baptist. He was such a lonely old gentleman, Mr. Midgley was. All his kith and kin were dead. We felt so sorry for him.
The movie is adapted from a popular Broadway play, which ran for almost 1,500 performances in the early 40s during World War II. It stars Hollywood legend Cary Grant as Mortimer Brewster, a drama critic who learns that his maiden aunts are serial killers who lure lonely old bachelors to their deaths. However, that's just the tip of this raving and utterly insane nightmare of a story. And all throughout the lies, insanity, and murder, the movie manages to be uproariously funny.
You know about what's down there?
Of course we do. And he's no friend of Mortimer's. He's one of our gentlemen.
You're a gentleman?
Yes. And we won't have any strangers buried in our cellar.
Number 14, Happiness. Despite what the title may suggest, Todd Solondz's Happiness, which revolves around the lives of three sisters, is not a happy movie.
Oh, honey, I'm so happy you're happy. Because all this time I've been thinking you were so miserable.
Oh, Trish, that's too funny when I couldn't be happier.
Far, far, far from it. This movie puts the dark in dark comedy and is filled with deeply troublesome and troubled characters, and many viewers may find it hard to sympathize with their searches for meaning. Yet the poignant and deft script, combined with the stellar performances from everyone involved, give the audience a path to feeling human connection. But this ain't no light entertainment, even with the laughs. Many people will not like this movie, and that's okay. But it proves that major risks often result in major rewards. Number 13, Four Lions. Riz Ahmed leads the charge in Four Lions, a satirical dark comedy that explores issues of fanaticism and radicalization.
Action. Hey, you unbelieving kafar bastards. I'm gonna turn you, baby.
No.
What?
What's with the gun?
Proper replica, man.
He stars as Omar, a British security guard who is a member of a radicalized homegrown terrorist group from Sheffield. The terrorist group is critical of Western imperialism and aspires to suicide bomb the London Marathon. This type of content sounds crass and borderline tasteless, and it is. But it's also a wickedly funny movie that portrays its protagonists as imbeciles and lampoons fanaticism with intelligence and grace.
How'd you get it all?
A wholesale shop down the road.
What, all from the same shop?
Yeah.
You mug, you'll get us nicked.
No. I use different voices every time I go in.
Different what? Different voices?
Different voices.
Show me.
What?
Show me the voices, come on.
Who knew radicalization could be so funny? Number 12, The Death of Stalin. You can't really go wrong with a cast containing Steve Buscemi, Patty Considine, Jason Isaacs, and Jeffrey Tambor.
This is calamity. Calamity. Oh no! Oh, he's on the floor.
As you can probably surmise from the title, this movie concerns the death of Soviet dictator Joseph Stalin, who died suddenly of a cerebral hemorrhage in 1953. Following Stalin's unexpected death, the Council of Ministers scrambles and schemes as they all vie for power.
Well, if you could do me a favor and just nod as I'm speaking. People are looking to me for reassurance, and I have no idea what is going on.
While critics praised the satire and performances, the film was met with disdain by the Russian Ministry of Culture and was subsequently banned in Russia, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan. Number 11, The War of the Roses. Danny DeVito both directed and stars in The War of the Roses, which was adapted from Warren Adler's novel of the same name.
When a man who makes $450 an hour wants to tell you something for free, you should listen.
While the movie takes its name from a historic period, the movie depicts a different kind of war. A war of love gone wrong. Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner star as Oliver and Barbara Rose, a married couple going through a bitter divorce and a fierce battle over their shared material possessions. As the battle is prolonged, their methods to get rid of each other grow increasingly macabre.
Sorry I'm late. Well, I guess I better not sit too close to anybody because I have a bit of a cold. Ah!
The movie is DeVito's finest directorial effort, as he capably manages the delicate balancing act between style, comedy, and the grotesque. Number 10. Snatch. Guy Ritchie is a master of the crime comedy, having directed the classic Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels as well as Snatch, and the latter is particularly acclaimed.
Is he allowed to do that? It's an unlicensed boxing match, Tom. Not a tickling competition. These lads are out to hurt each other.
Even holding down the 103rd spot on IMDb's top-rated movies list. There are so many things to enjoy about this dark comedy, including Ritchie's impeccable stylistic flourishes, his penchant for writing memorable dialogue and characters, and Brad Pitt's brilliant performance as one-punch Mickey O'Neill.
How big are you? Hey, kids, how big is he? He's a big man, that's for sure. Hey, man, come and look at the size of this fella. Bet your back's a little, concentrate. You look like a boxer.
And hey, so what if you sometimes can't understand any of the heavily accented dialogue? Throw on the subtitles, have a laugh, and enjoy one of the finest dark comedies ever. Number 9. The Wolf of Wall Street. When you combine Martin Scorsese with Leonardo DiCaprio, you get art.
Yep. On a daily basis, I consume enough drugs to sedate Manhattan, Long Island, and Queens for a month.
This movie stars DiCaprio as real-life stockbroker and scam artist Jordan Belfort, who spent 22 months in federal prison for fraud. The film is masterfully edited by longtime Scorsese collaborator Thelma Schoonmaker, resulting in a rapid-fire, erratic, drug-fueled good time. Think the last act of Goodfellas only stretched to 3 volatile and surprisingly sprightly hours. It's amazing that a story about Wall Street and stocks, and terrible fraud, can be so incredibly entertaining. Well, such are the incredible talents of its cast and crew. Number 8. After Hours. Martin Scorsese really knows how to craft a dark comedy.
Which would be like a forum for writers and intellectuals who can't get into print anywhere else, who could, I'm not into like editing or trying to reach a particular audience. Getting it out there, they would get some momentum going, and do something with excuse me, what was that?
Long before The Wolf of Wall Street, Scorsese showed his comedic chops with After Hours. The movie stars Griffin Dunne as the gentle Paul Hackett, a computer data entry worker who finds himself having the worst and most bizarre night of his life. It's a total existential nightmare that is expertly edited by Schoonmaker and directed by Scorsese. While the movie was critically acclaimed and won the Best Director award at that year's Cannes Film Festival, it never really took off, and has since become one of Scorsese's most underappreciated works of art.
I'm sorry. You wouldn't believe what I've been through tonight. You just wouldn't believe it.
Oh, I'm an ice cream vendor, Mr. Softy.
What? You misunderstood me. I didn't ask what you did for a living. I said you wouldn't believe what I've been through tonight.
Number 7. Heathers. The mid to late 80s were filled with popular teen comedies, many of them of the John Hughes variety.
Hello, Jason Dean.
Greetings and salutations. You a Heather?
No, I'm a Veronica. Sawyer.
Heathers looked to change that. Winona Ryder stars as Veronica Sawyer, a popular high school student who meets and befriends the psychotic JD. JD is the creepy yet charismatic outsider who has ulterior motives of his own, namely killing popular cliquey kids. Ryder and Christian Slater make for a dynamic duo, and the movie's script touches on morbid concepts of teenage alienation and suicide, premeditated murder, and school violence.
Power. Power I didn't think you had. Slate is clean.
It takes a high degree of talent to make those themes funny, and Heathers pulls it off with confidence and dexterity. Number 6. Election. Election is another marvelous high school satire, albeit a much less violent one.
And you don't crack under pressure, as we all saw in the amazing fourth quarter against West Side. All the kids look up to you. Now what does that spell? Student, council, president.
Matthew Broderick stars as Jim McAllister, a social studies teacher who looks to sabotage the student body election. Reese Witherspoon turns in arguably the greatest performance of her fine comedic career as Tracy Flick, the ambitious student who runs for school president. Election is not just another high school movie. It is an intelligent and incisive look into the many aspects of high school life, including biased teachers, overambitious and obnoxious students, the indifferent student body, and administrative politics.
You might think it upset me that Paul Metzler had decided to run against me, but nothing could be further from the truth. He was no competition for me. It was like apples and oranges.
Ironically enough, the movie is not particularly popular, but it is good. Number 5. Parasite. There's this little South Korean movie called Parasite. You may have heard of it.
진짜 상징적이다. 진짜 센데요.
그쵸, 세죠. 역시 느끼시는구나, 케빈 쌤은.
침팬지를 그린 거죠?
자화상이에요.
역시.
Parasite is writer-director Bong Joon-ho's masterpiece, and it tells the story of a poor and conniving Korean family that infiltrates a wealthy clan as their servants. Bong Joon-ho uses this contained story as a microcosm to comment on wider social themes. Parasite made history by becoming the first South Korean movie to win the Palme d'Or and the first non-English film to win the Academy Award for Best Picture. It's funny, it's wildly unpredictable, and it has a lot to say about our modern social climate.
부자들이 원래 순진해 꼬인 게 없고 부잣집은 또 애들이 구김살이 없어.
대림이야 대림이. 돈이 대림이다. 구김살을 쫙 펴줘.
In short, it's a modern-day masterpiece. Number 4. The Big Lebowski. Coen brothers' comedies are a bit of an acquired taste, and some prove largely divisive.
Give me the marker, dude. I'm marking an 8.
Smokey, my friend. You're entering a world of pain. Walter, man. You mark that frame an 8, you're entering a world of pain.
That does not seem to be the case with The Big Lebowski. This movie's become a giant cult favorite throughout the years, thanks in large part to the movie's brilliant dialogue. Well, that and the memes. This movie is arguably the Coens' most personable and unique, as it's filled with memorable lines, scenes, visual flourishes, and characters. Jeff Bridges is also out of this world good as legendary character The Dude. The Coens are masters at writing and directing, and the amazing star-studded ensemble cast does the rest.
I like your style, dude.
Oh, well, I dig your style too, man. Got a whole cowboy thing going.
The result is pure cinematic magic. Number 3. In Bruges. Martin McDonagh has proved himself one of the finest creators of dark comedy, having also crafted the likes of 7 Psychopaths and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Oscar.
But perhaps his most capable blending of raw humanity and uproarious comedy is In Bruges. This movie sees the always reliable Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson as 2 Irish hitmen who are hiding out in picturesque Bruges, Belgium, and awaiting further orders from their boss, played by one of the best bad guy actors in the biz, Ralph Fiennes. The unique setting, sharp writing, and commendable performances all combine to create one of the dreariest and most depressingly hilarious comedies ever made. And we wouldn't have it any other way. Number 2. Fargo. While The Big Lebowski may be the Coens' most popular comedy, Fargo is arguably their greatest original creation. It's a brilliantly told story that effortlessly mixes elements of the crime genre with black comedy, endearing family dynamics, and glorious Minnesota nice accents. It's just as funny as The Big Lebowski, but in a much more down-to-earth way, deriving laughs from its regional idiosyncrasies. However, it's also far more violent, and it also takes itself far more seriously. Is Fargo, later adapted into a superb TV series, a funny crime drama, or a comedy filled with murder, kidnapping, and despicable criminals? We don't really know, but that's why the Coen brothers are such masters of the film medium. Normally, I prefer just like straight comedies, but every so often when I'm in a particular mood, I do like to dabble in the dark comedies. Any recommendations for me or for us? Be sure to let us know your favorites in the comments. And now, we'll check out maybe not the OG dark comedy, but definitely one that helped set the standard for the genre. Right after these honorable mentions. Observe and report.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. What were you guys talking about? What were you saying to each other?
Super.
Hey. Hey, excuse me. Hey. No butts.
What difference does it make to you?
No butting in line. You go to the back of the line now.
Death at a funeral.
Now, my advice is to relax and just go with the flow. Try and enjoy it.
Simon! How long does it last?
I don't know.
Simon!
About 8 hours.
The Trouble with Harry.
I asked how you want your bacon.
Sliced.
In the Loop.
So is war unforeseeable, Minister?
Look, all sorts of things that are actually very likely are also unforeseeable. For the plane in the fog, the mountain is unforeseeable, but then it is suddenly very real and inevitable.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Dr. Strangelove. And finally, we come to the granddaddy of all black comedies, Stanley Kubrick's seminal masterpiece, Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb.
Then do you mean to tell me, General Turgidson, that you will be unable to recall the aircraft?
That's about silence. However, we are plowing through every possible three-letter combination of the code.
But since there are 17,000 permutations, it's going to take us about 2.5 days to transmit them all.
How soon did you say the planes would penetrate Russian radar cover?
About 18 minutes from now.
Kubrick made many iconic films throughout his illustrious career, but none was as funny or as fiercely sardonic as Dr. Strangelove. Released just 15 months after the Cuban Missile Crisis, this movie lampoons many aspects of the Cold War, including the missile gap, elaborate fallout shelter networks, and mutually assured destruction. It's certainly a product of its time, but like most pieces of art, this supreme satire can be enjoyed at any time by anyone.
Hey, what about Major Kong?
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.